Patrick Bet-David has made it clear who he believes is the WNBA's true IT player, and it's not the name many longtime WNBA media personalities continue to promote. Instead, he's throwing his support behind Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, praising both her play alongside Caitlin Clark and her willingness to speak openly about protecting women's sports. Angel Reese also enters the discussion, but in a much different context. Bet-David argues that strong opinions mean little without consistent performance, using Reese as an example of what happens when the spotlight exceeds the results on the court. Following the recent WNBA All-Star game, he pointed to her missed scoring opportunities, a memorable block by Angel Wilson, and other moments that fueled criticism online. In his view, Cunningham's profile is rising while Reese faces growing scrutiny. The debate intensified after Cunningham said, "I just don't think we need to have men competing in women's sports." That single quote quickly spread across social media, but many people stopped there without reading the rest of her response. When asked whether her position reflected hostility toward transgender people, Cunningham added, "I extend love, and I don't dislike anyone. I think there is room for absolutely everyone here, and I think there's room to love everyone." Supporters argue that this follow-up provided important context, showing she was trying to distinguish her views on athletic competition from how she feels about people personally. Rather than relying on a carefully crafted PR statement, Cunningham answered a difficult question directly, making her comments a major talking point across the sports world. Cunningham didn't stop after making her initial point. She explained why she believes it matters. She connected her argument to Title IX, the landmark law that helped expand opportunities for women in athletics and shape the foundation of modern women's sports. In her view, protecting that foundation is essential to preserving the progress generations of female athletes have fought to achieve. She explained it this way: "That's why you have Title IX. That's why you have some of the greats in women's sports. If Title IX and women's sports weren't protected, then you wouldn't hear about any type of women in sport." Her supporters see those comments as an argument for preserving existing women's competitions rather than attacking anyone personally. Cunningham also emphasized that her perspective comes from her own values. She said, "I'm not a very political person, but I do have beliefs. I have morals, and I'll always stand on those and be true to who I am, whether people agree with her or not." Making that statement publicly on camera was always likely to spark intense debate. That willingness to speak openly is one reason Patrick Bet-David weighed in. The entrepreneur and media personality, who reaches millions through his platform, said he noticed Cunningham's body language before focusing on her words. He pointed out that she appeared to anticipate the criticism that would follow and argued that she understood the controversy she was stepping into. Bet-David praised her for remaining composed throughout the interview, calling her brave, stunning, and courageous. He also suggested that the moment was about more than basketball, saying the way she handled the interview could shape opportunities for her long after her WNBA career ends. From his perspective, the discussion had become much bigger than the game itself. All-Star Weekend is supposed to be the WNBA's biggest showcase, a chance for the league's brightest stars to remind fans exactly why they belong in the spotlight. Every possession is watched closely, and every highlight or mistake can become the story of the weekend. For Angel Reese, several moments from the game quickly became talking points online. She was held scoreless during her time on the floor, an outcome that immediately drew attention across social media. One of the most widely shared clips showed Reese missing an uncontested layup, a play that basketball fans expect to be converted the vast majority of the time. Within hours, the video had spread across sports pages and debate shows. Another sequence generated even more discussion. On a drive to the basket, Angel Wilson challenged Reese's attempt near the rim, and the play was replayed repeatedly online from multiple angles. Fans debated the clip throughout the weekend, with many using it to compare the performances of the league's biggest stars. Moments later, Reese lost her balance after the play and fell to the floor, adding another clip that quickly made the rounds on social media. The attention didn't stop once the game ended. Cameras also captured former President Barack Obama greeting players during the event. One widely shared video showed him spending time speaking with Caitlin Clark while Reese stood nearby, sparking another wave of online reactions and speculation. As with many viral moments, fans interpreted the interaction in different ways, but the footage became one of the most discussed clips to come out of All-Star Weekend. One of the most talked about moments of All-Star Weekend happened away from the court. Cameras captured former President Barack Obama speaking with Caitlin Clark, offering encouragement about handling the attention that comes with rapid success. According to Clark, he shared advice about staying focused despite outside criticism and reflected on his own path to public life. Clark later described it as a conversation she'll remember for a long time. The interaction quickly became a major topic online, with many fans interpreting it as another sign of Clark's growing influence in women's basketball. While people drew different conclusions from the moment, the video generated millions of views and fueled another round of debate over who currently has the biggest impact on the league. The conversation extended beyond the game itself and into the sneaker world. Clark's signature Nike shoes attracted significant attention throughout All-Star Weekend, with several players seen wearing or requesting requesting pairs before their wider release. Courtney Williams and Natisha Heidman were among those who showcased the shoes, and Finals MVP Jonquil Jones also expressed interest in Clark's signature model despite her own endorsement relationships. At the same time, social media users compared that excitement with the reception surrounding Angel Reese's Reebok partnership. Supporters and critics alike debated what those moments might say about each player's current market appeal, although individual interactions at a single event don't necessarily reflect overall popularity or commercial success taken on their own. None of these moments would define a player's career. A missed shot, a brief conversation, or interest in a new sneaker line can happen at any All-Star Weekend. But when they all unfold over the same weekend, they combine to create a much larger narrative, one that fans, commentators, and the media continue to debate long after the final buzzer. On their own, none of those moments would seem like a major story. A missed layup, a blocked shot, a conversation with another player, or a sneaker drawing more attention than another, any of those can happen over the course of a single weekend. But when fans put all of those clips together, many began to see a broader narrative rather than a series of isolated moments. That discussion intensified after Reese finished the All-Star game scoreless in limited minutes, a stat line that quickly circulated across social media alongside renewed debates about the lofty comparisons she has made during her career. For supporters, it was just one exhibition game. For critics, it became another example they used to question whether the on-court production has consistently matched the expectations surrounding her. Patrick Bet-David didn't hold back when sharing his perspective. He argued that the real issue isn't Reese as a person or even her overall talent as a basketball player. Instead, he said the disconnect lies between the public image, confidence, and expectations surrounding her and what he believes has been delivered on the court in high-profile moments. According to Bet-David, that gap is where the entire debate begins. Whether fans agree with his assessment or completely reject it, his comments have added another layer to the ongoing conversation about performance, perception, and star power in today's WNBA. Patrick Bet-David approaches the debate from a business perspective. Rather than focusing on social media buzz, magazine covers, or public image, he argues that the metrics that matter most are revenue, attendance, television viewership, and sponsorship value. In his view, those numbers ultimately determine a league's financial strength and the earning potential of its players. That was the context he pointed to when discussing comments about player compensation and the possibility of labor action. Bet-David noted that the WNBA has faced financial challenges in the past, with reports that the league operated at significant annual losses while receiving financial support from the NBA. He contrasted that period with the league's more recent growth, including its multi-billion-dollar long-term media rights agreement. Bet-David credits much of that recent momentum to Caitlin Clark, arguing that her arrival coincided with major increases in attendance, television audiences, and overall fan interest. He pointed to league-wide attendance growth, millions of fans passing through arena gates, and significant ratings increases on national broadcasts as evidence that the WNBA has entered a new era of visibility. Using those figures, Bet-David challenged Angel Reese's claim of being the league's IT girl. In his opinion, the title should reflect measurable impact on the business side of the sport as much as on-court performance or social media popularity. Whether fans agree with that conclusion or not, his argument centers on one idea: in professional sports, the numbers ultimately carry the most weight. Bet-David argued that sponsors and league executives ultimately judge success by measurable business results. In his view, the key questions are how many fans are watching, how many tickets are being sold, and how much interest a player generates for the league. He contended that those metrics matter far more than headlines or social media attention when evaluating a player's overall impact. Looking back at All-Star Weekend, Bet-David was highly critical of Reese's performance. He said the game footage spoke for itself, pointing to missed scoring opportunities and arguing that on-court production should outweigh branding or public image. In his opinion, no marketing campaign can fully offset disappointing performances when fans and analysts are evaluating a player. The conversation expanded further when Shaquille O'Neal, who has been involved with Reebok basketball, shared his own views on the debate. According to reports, O'Neal pushed back against comparisons between Reese and all-time basketball legends and instead praised Sophie Cunningham's recent play and the energy she has brought alongside Caitlin Clark. Those comments added another high-profile voice to an already heated discussion. For Bet-David, the central point remained the same. He argued that professional sports ultimately reward results, not confidence alone. From his perspective, sustained on-court performance, fan interest, and measurable impact are what determine who becomes the league's biggest star, and he believes those factors should carry more weight than self-promotion or public perception.